Hello, all. Welcome to the Gig Economy Podcast, episode 100 and I wrote 94. What is it?
195.
Okay, so I took it out of the title because I probably, for SEO, I probably shouldn't put it in there. But then I didn't update it on the rundown. What am I good for? Anyways, I hope you guys all doing good, having a good week. Hopefully anyone listening, Iowa is safe. I know there was pretty nasty weather that went through there. What are we talking about tonight? We're talking about Uber and Lyft strike a deal with Minnesota finally, and
we knew it would
Instacart
happen.
Drops when they add Costco, which I'm interested to talk about. How you guys doing tonight?
I'm doing well. I'm turning into Jesper. I did one ride last week.
No, that's more than Jesper.
I was going to say that's maybe one more ride, but yeah, we were out of town for a wedding for a few days in Virginia. So I was up there and actually got to go in a Sheetz convenience store that y'all talk about and John talks about quite a bit.
They're nice.
Yeah, it was pretty nice.
Was it nice? Clean
It was
bathrooms?
pretty nice. Yes, I did not go in the bathroom, but it seemed like it was pretty decent convenience store.
Cool.
But yeah,
go to gigeconomyshow.com for everything gig economy show related. I mean, hence the name. You can sign up for the newsletter. You can look at news. You can download the show. You can sign up for the Patreon. Patreon members: Samson, Steve, Bud, Omar, Delivery Cats, Jamie, Frank, Tom, Jim, who is actually here. Jimothy is actually here at the start of the show, so that's good to see. If you want to join the Patreon, which we haven't had anybody in a while, and we would love for you to join, which we'll be doing a bonus one next week, Wednesday, last Wednesday of the month, which is good. There we go. Patreon.com/the Gig Econ Podcast, extra podcasts a month. A t-shirt, which I owe a few people, which I say every time, and then I forget to send it. You get ad-free episodes, all that good stuff. So check it out. Gig Economy Show. Patreon.com/the Gig Econ Podcast. How many times a week do I do, or like, is it like every other week I end up screwing that address up?
I'd say that's a pretty close guess.
Okay, that's fair. I'll take those statistics.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we have the Telegram group. We've had a couple people join. And Larry, can you tell them what the Telegram group is?
Yes, the Telegram group is a chat group. You can leave text messages or voice messages, and it's really nice to have people that are in the gig economy that you can talk to, that you can vent to, that you can share ideas, or just kind of shoot the breeze sometimes when you're out delivering food or doing passengers and it's slow. We got people all over the world. We got people in Chicago. We got a lot in Grand Rapids, Michigan area. I'm in Kentucky. We got somebody in John over in North Carolina, and even got somebody down in New Zealand. So yeah, come on there and join the chat and introduce yourself and just jump right in there with both feet.
Yeah, for sure. We'd love to have you. We definitely had two people join, so that's cool. One that's chatty and one that hasn't chatted yet, which is totally fine. I'm a little scary. John's real scary. So on and so forth. So
John's fun.
He is. Stories from the road. Larry had none. We know he doesn't drive anymore.
That's right. I'm done.
Did you have anything?
Did I?
Yeah. Did you have any stories?
He has a story.
I personally had really good laid back riders, but there was a situation in the Costco parking lot with an Instacart shopper who just, I guess she's peed in the parking lot a couple times. So they get there early, right? And they wait and try and get a good parking spot. And like some pull out and go to the gas station real quick, or some wait until the store opens. But apparently she did not want to wait. So she opened the door and she just did it right there. There was a customer coming out. Like before, when she's done it, I guess she's opened the back door and her door. So she's kind of in between. No, she just opened hers and let it rip right in the parking lot. And the stream was going down. There's a customer walking up and I'm like, oh.
You say when she usually does it? Is that what you
said? I guess she usually does it. I don't pay enough attention, and I'm not usually sitting there anymore waiting. And
Okay.
but they were talking about it. She normally does it in the parking lot. She just opens the door in peace. We need to give her those gooses.
Exactly. They definitely needs a female version of the Thirsty Goose.
Well,
and
okay. Yeah,
this
you
stuff
said it
would not
right.
happen.
I was like, that's not going to work with the male version. It's
No,
just
no. They definitely need
Larry said they need an extra large mouth
yes.
for women that want to use it, I guess.
Yeah, fair.
Because
Fair.
there's a mix. I feel
Yeah.
like they make these products that are for men, but like, why not? There's women who do gig work. They could
Yeah.
benefit from it too.
No, for sure.
Exactly.
I mean, it's hard for women in general to pee in public. I mean, it's
Mhm.
just you just can't go in the woods. I mean, you can. It's just probably going to get messy, but I think with all the hassle to do it, it's probably easier for them just to drive somewhere to use the bathroom.
Well, not for the lady and
No, she didn't want to lose her spot.
Her Instacart shopper. She didn't want to lose her spot. So
Hey,
There's
$50 is $50
there's a potential customer right there.
for sure. I did not have anything. I did the Comic-Con this past weekend with my sons, and it was really fun. Waited way too long to meet Ernie Hudson, who is one of the Ghostbusters. 3 hours in the same spot. Did not move.
Wow.
That was not the funnest, but it is what it is. My son really wanted to meet him, so that was cool. Got a picture with him, and then I had 2 Funko Pops of the Cheers characters. Cliff and Norm were both there.
Oh,
really?
nice.
Nice. That's
Yeah.
cool.
And so it's John Ratzenberger and George Wendt.
Mhm.
John Ratzenberger, as you know, has done a ton, like everything, every Pixar movie I swear he's been in. So it was on Sunday, and it was getting towards the end of the day. So it was about 3:30, and literally neither of them had lines. So I just walked up to them and I'm like, "Hey, how's it going?" John was drunk. He was in the bag. Like he looked up and he was like, like like the slow eyes. And he's like, "Oh, okay," and he signs it, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Thanks, John. Whatever. Really appreciate you coming to the con." I always, say that and stuff. And $50 got my signature. Cool on my Funko Pop. Then I went to George Wendt. When I say he looked like the Emperor from Return of the Jedi, if you remember that, he's got the hood up. He's got a white face. That's what Norm looked like. I don't know. He's got to be dead. It looked like he was very sick. And so, again, wasn't drunk, but signed my thing. And it was just weird, right? It was just a weird interaction. It wasn't like what I was hoping for, but whatever. I guess I got my signatures, and I'm not going to sell these things. I collect Funko Pops, so it's just like a nostalgia thing for me. But I was hoping to get a little bit of more a lively conversation with
a little conversation anyway.
I mean, I just paid you $50 each. I mean, like, you could at least acknowledge that I'm here and thankful that you are, but whatever. So, but it was a good weekend. We were in and out in like 5 hours, so we didn't do much perusing. But they had a lot of great people there. They had a couple of Sons of Anarchy, Charlie Hun, I think his name is, the Jax and Sons of Anarchy. They had Gus from Breaking Bad there, which my son got a picture with. Have you watched the show?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember a scene where he took a box cutter when they were in the lab that was like down below and killed a guy with it? It was a bright green box cutter. Well, my son, of course, older son, my 13-year-old doesn't watch Breaking Bad.
I was guessing that. Yeah.
I should have clarified that. But he took a picture of the screen of the shot and looked at, there's some identifying marks, found the company that actually made them for the movie, bought it for $4, right? And he got it signed.
Sweet.
He went there to get it signed, and they were selling them for $40 a piece.
Oh,
wow.
Oh man, he should have bought a crap ton of them.
Yeah, he should have, and got them signed
for $30.
Well, the problem is the signature was probably $80. So
yeah,
that's the thing.
True.
But anyways, real quick before we jump to gig economy news, Kim's Side Money Plans. She was on last week. When I was editing that show, I had a great time. Like the content that we were talking about, I think she was like, what am I getting myself into? Now, normally, we don't, I mean, we sometimes get into that stuff, but it's not like all the time. And I
No,
felt
it's not
like,
a staple of
I
the
feel like we
show.
kind of ramped it up because she was on the show towards the end.
But she
Probably.
handled herself. I think she did good. I
Absolutely.
watched
Oh
it.
yeah, she hung right in there for sure. She wasn't intimidated or anything.
Oh, no.
or no, she was right there with us. But yeah, I think you're probably right. I think we might have gone a little more than we usually do.
Right. Is this the Josh? So I was gonna say she had this guy that was like busting her literal balls in the chat, and his name was Josh. I don't know. He didn't have that icon. So welcome, Josh, if that's you. Well, welcome either way. I appreciate
Exactly,
you,
for sure.
coming on. Yeah, we don't know who the guest is because he put Gig King instead of his name.
That's his title.
That's my title. If you join the Telegram group, then
I know, but no one knows you. You can put it in the headline. You put your name and then show your headline.
Well, I guess as host, we should probably introduce him.
Well, I mean, he's been on enough. I'm not introducing his ass. But anyways, go back go to Kim's YouTube page, subscribe to the channel, and then of course download her podcast because that's what she's trying to grow. Grow. It's Friday.
Yeah.
All right, so here we go. We weren't going to talk about Uber and Lyft
in Michigan,
in Michigan,
in Minnesota,
in Minnesota, but we are talking about it because they have struck a deal, which I will read it and you tell me what you think it is or what your opinion on it is. So, raising wages for drivers by 20%, increasing insurance cover for drivers injured on the job, and providing protections against unfair deactivation. Starting January 1, 2025. Oh, so it's not going to start till the new year. The bill will entitle drivers to at least $1.28 per mile and 31 cents per minute, which is in the general range of rates needed to ensure Twin Cities drivers earn the Minneapolis minimum wage of $15.57 per hour after accounting for their vehicle expenses, payroll taxes, according to the state's study of driver compensation. So, I mean, the rates are fine. I mean, I like those, surface value.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, if it equals $15.57, I mean, after the expenses, I guess, I would like to see, I guess it all depends on your expenses, right?
Sure.
It also says the state agreement preempts cities from enacting their own standards, which we kind of talked about before. Like, should the state have the say of the entire state, or should it be individual cities?
Yeah. That'll go to court.
I think it will go to court.
I would almost guarantee it will.
Cities may still choose to license transportation network companies and charge fees, but they can't do the wages, deactivations, all that other stuff. So I thought this was interesting too. And, a lot of these bills get passed with a bunch of bullshit on there, but I wouldn't say this is bullshit, but it's interesting. In addition to the agreement of the wages and labors and standards, the House Ways and Means Committee passed a last minute bill on Saturday morning to appropriate $2 million from the Workforce Development Fund to create a zero interest car loan program for ride-hail drivers who have been working for at least 1 year on a ride-hail platform and have a household income less than $80,000 would be able to borrow $15,000 for regular vehicles and $20,000 for wheelchair accessible vehicles.
That's interesting.
I mean, it's a household income less than 80, so obviously they're going to use your spouse. But I mean, if you're single and you're not making 80K, I mean, you some of y'all are, but most are not making 80K. So I think that's great. I mean, $15,000 at 0% interest.
Yeah, and you see in the Facebook groups quite often, there's people in there like, "Hey, how can I get a car loan when I'm an independent contractor with Lyft and Uber?" And it sounds like people do have trouble getting those loans. So I'm sure this would be a big help to some people.
Yeah, I mean, I have the advantage of being married, and my wife has a W-2, and so I mean, I do too, but I don't make a ton, and so I've never had to worry.
Yeah, same here.
I mean, I'm not going to get that loan. Like my new car, wouldn't be able to get it with just my income. Like it had to be both of us. But yeah, it's got to be a struggle with just, I mean, Gabe would know, but Gabe, you do, excuse me, I was burping. You do pretty well though. And it's just, how does that work when you have to go get a new car? Because like you have to put like you have gig income, right? Like it's
Right.
not like you have
Well,
a
and
W-2.
there's some that work with you. You have to
Gotta find 'em.
provide. Yeah, you have to find them, and you have to provide. Print off your statement. Some of them want, like, even like we're planning to move, and like they couldn't use my Instacart, although they could use my PDF for my 1099, but they can't use screenshots of like your weekly, and Instacart doesn't provide like a weekly statement like Lyft and Uber provide that you can download. Like DoorDash doesn't either.
Yeah. Don't they just go off taxes? I mean, they should be able to be like, I mean, they want to know that you're currently working.
Right.
Because obviously, if you were getting a car in November and you did your taxes in January,
Right.
you could have not been working for the last 11 months.
Right. But they want the statements like for the last 6 weeks.
Okay. Yeah.
And so then it's like, well, I have that. And it's like, well, I can give you the 1099 for this one. But that's something that's crazy is, you do this stuff, and some of the apps are really good at providing the information where you can download it and track it. And then there's some that don't. Like when you look up, like, how can I have access to this? And they're like, go to your screen and take a screenshot. And you're like, no, like anybody could pass off somebody else's screenshot, right?
Yeah, you can Photoshop it.
Yeah, I mean, Josh put like, yeah, he got a car. I mean, if he's got great credit, yeah, that too. And he put $4,500 down. There's not very many. I mean, that's a lot to put down. I mean, I put no down on my car. Like, to me, I would rather invest that money. But
if you have good credit and you have $4,500 down,
yeah.
No bank's going to be like, oh, because then if you go upside down on it, you've already put the $4,500. So
yeah,
they're going to make
if you're putting $4,500 in good credit, it doesn't really matter. But and I know Tesla probably. Did you go through Tesla? I'd be curious. I feel like they finance everybody, but maybe not. And that's not a cut against you, Josh, by any means. I just feel like I've known some people that got financed through Tesla, and I'm like, how the fuck did that happen?
Tesla's taking whatever money they can get.
I know for sure. One added thing, and take this with a grain of salt about the Minnesota thing. Someone posted on Facebook and said, and this is what they said, and I didn't really search a lot about it, but they're like, they wanted to say, and think, in case you're thinking of coming here for the wage increase, a key detail: minimum rates aren't guaranteed for every single trip. Rather, drivers must be paid the minimum rates on average over a 2-week pay period. If drivers' earnings average out below the wage floor over a given pay period, the companies must top them off with the difference. That was an important provision that for Uber and Lyft, because it gives them wide latitude in setting pay and price according to rider demand. So surges, bonuses, etc., are included in that $1.31 a mile. It's also not a per trip rate; it's averaged out. This was definitely a hidden detail, and the only reason Uber loved this deal, they're saying it's a 14% increase. I don't know. As I read that for a second time, he's talking about the surges and bonuses are included in the 131. That doesn't make sense if it's supposed to be a flat rate. What do you guys think about that?
Well, I think what it's saying is that on average, let's say if you give over 2 weeks, you give 100 rides, then I think that's what they're going to get it. They're going to get it to make it so that you make 1557.
Yeah.
By dividing up your rides. And if that includes, slow periods where it's not surging, and then on those times when it's this influx of need and demand, they're going to jack the prices up. They're never going to, I hate to put it this way, but Uber and Lyft is never going to do something to make themselves go negative.
Well, yeah.
Right.
They're going to balance it out.
But yeah, what I often think about it, are they going to just make it so that they roughly get around that? Like, you can't make a ton more, and they're going to try to not make you, give you rides with a ton less because they got to make up the difference. I don't know. Yeah. I think that's what they'll probably.
I think it'll be nice in next year. Let's say get a driver that's from, there and see how they do once this starts.
Yeah, maybe give it like a month or two to kind of shake out, and then see if they feel like they're better, doing better than they used to, or worse than they used to, or if it's kind of a wash.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think about it, and the minimum wage, there's no way. Like, even when I look at $15.57 an hour, like,
Well,
I wouldn't do
supposedly
gig
that
work.
is after expenses, though.
But like, what? I guess what are your expenses?
Well, that's the thing. How can they
Yeah.
come up with that number when each person has different expenses?
Yeah, it's just got to be a an average of what they think it would cost. Taking different gas mileage into account and things like that.
Oh, so they based it off a study, an analysis that they did, and it said that most drivers in Twin Cities Metro earn $53 an hour on average.
Jeez.
What?
But drivers earn slightly less than 15 an hour minimum wage when accounting for the entire time drivers spend on the apps and deducting about 60 cents per mile in expenses.
See, I don't understand. I've seen a lot of people talk about the sitting time. I mean, yes, you're not making any money, but you're also you don't have any expenses. I mean, I guess if you're running I don't know. I guess I always find that weird. I mean, I don't count that as. I like when DoorDash breaks it down from active time and dash time. I do. Well, I guess Lyft kind of does that now too. I don't know.
Yeah, Lyft does.
Yeah.
But that's kind of nice because I'll take the active time. If I'm driving around like a dumbass and when I don't have orders, that's stupid. You're just wasting your money. You should park and just wait. But yeah, I think that part, I always take it on the active time. I base it on that, not the overall time. But I guess you are away from your home, so you're technically working. But I mean, are you really working? You're just sitting there.
That goes with the whole people sitting at the airport waiting an hour for a ride.
Yes.
Like, I'm sorry, if my wheels aren't moving, I'm not making money, and I'm not gonna sit there and I'll bounce between apps. Like, I'm gonna drop them off. Okay, I'm gonna go do this now.
Yeah, I don't know why they do that, especially you've seen some of them in Detroit where it's just insane amount of cars, 300-400 cars for like 100 flights in the next 2 hours or something like that. Like, how is that even profitable?
Yeah, I don't know. I see that in Nashville. There's guys out there walking around, there's a big group of them down the corner shooting the breeze. And there's a guy that he walks laps around there. And I like these guys were here when I got here and they're there when I leave. I don't know what they're doing.
I'm gonna say this because I get joy out of it. So I don't sit at the airport, but I love how I can bring somebody to the airport, drop them off, and then I get a ping for a ride and I just circle back around and pick somebody up.
Yeah. That's nice that they do that. They give you that preferred, trip out if you drop somebody off.
I've driven out of the airport
and
then I get a request to turn around and come back. And I'm just like, there's 157 cars sitting there and they're still sitting there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here's my thought on maybe a lot of those airport rides, because I kind of look at it this way too. It's a ride that chances are you're not going to have any trouble with. It's going to be typically I wouldn't say a nice person. It's just a zero pressure kind of ride. Like, I have less pressure. Remember last episode? I don't know if it was when we talked about the anxiety and the worry about picking up during bar time. I don't have that with airport. You know what I mean? So maybe a lot of those guys are like, I don't care about my hourly. I want to make some money and I'm just going to take chill rides. Like, anytime you pick up downtown, you have no idea if it's going to be a chill ride, but more than likely, if you pick up in the airport, it's probably going to be a chill ride. It's going to be quiet. They're tired. They just want to get home, more than likely. So maybe that's it.
That could be. Yeah. I mean, I agree. There's probably a high likelihood of it being just a pretty calm ride as opposed to picking up a rando.
I definitely will go there if I drop off somewhere out that way. I'll definitely go sit at the airport for a little bit, especially if I'm not working on a quest, just to chill out a little, as long as I know that there's some flights coming in. And I'll take whatever, you know what I mean? But just to get out of there. But yeah, some of those guys, I don't understand it. But so we'll see you January 1, 2025. Do we think there's going to be any suing other than what we talked about, the other thing in regards to the rate now, I think everyone's on the same page. I mean, Uber obviously agreed to it, and the state agreed to it. So,
yeah, I think, like I said, I think it's still going to go. What we talked about, go to court about where they can, set it for the whole state or market by market. But
well, that's more of a just losing control of your area kind of lawsuit.
But you wonder what all these companies that were going to swoop in, what's going to happen? They just all going to fall, not come to Minnesota, or
we'll talk about that later. That's an article. You son of a bitch!
I was putting a lead into it.
What's not the next one? All right, go ahead, Larry.
Okay, so we had talked about this on the show a while back that Lyft had come out with a program where they said they were going to make sure that drivers get 70% of the pay after Lyft pays its fees, and they introduced that only in 20 of the top markets, but now they're introducing that in all the markets, I believe. I know Gabe said that he saw it
finally,
a week or two ago.
A week ago, finally it popped up.
Okay.
So it said that they're claiming that the initial rollout has been a success. That say an additional 20% of drivers are saying that they were paid fairly within a month after the launch. 75% of drivers said they have a greater understanding of their earnings, and more than half say they have benefited from being topped off at the end of at least 1 week so far. So yeah, what it is, if you don't make 70%, again, it goes week by week. At the end of the week, if you haven't made 70% of what the passenger paid after Lyft takes out its fees, then they'll top you off and make sure that you get that 70%.
So that being said, Gabe, you said it. I haven't done rideshare.
I did get a top off of $1.38.
And Gabe has benefited.
I mean, we laugh at the amount, but at least they did it. Like Uber said, eat it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't do a lot of Lyft, so.
Well, yeah, I know. I'm just saying, at least they're trying to, basically.
No, I get that they're trying. The only thing I don't like is I think it actually pisses me off more that I can see how much they're taking. When I'm like external fees, 25, Lyft fees, 25, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, when I've seen a lot of people complain about like the commercial insurance, it's like $30 for the ride, and you're like, Jesus Christ, like for one ride, it's that you're taking that much money? Like it can't be that much.
Or if you look at a similar like distance time wise, the fees are so different between the rides.
Yeah, you could have one, 2 rides going from a similar neighborhood to the airport, and one the fees is definitely a lot higher than it is on the other ride, and you would think it'd be pretty close.
Yeah, and it's nowhere close. And I think that's what irritates me when I look at the breakdown is I'm like, but look at Frank. Frank loves it. He says that he's benefited from it quite a few times. He was saying that in the Telegram group. But I think it also is based on market too.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I mean, obviously in a market that you're getting paid less typically, which maybe in New Jersey, that is for him, that he does get paid less compared to like your market, Gabe. Yeah. So it ends up balanced, they end up having to put more in. But Rick, just FYI, I know you've been around a little bit, but we don't do math on this show. So,
or geography.
So when you said, I read, if you have done the math, and then I stopped reading. At that point. Let me get that word. So,
we don't have a lot of rules, but that's one.
but Rick does make a good point. He's pretty spot on with it.
Yes, if you want to be our math expert, I would gladly accept it. And you can screw the numbers and we'll never know. All right. So good for Lyft, sort of. We'll see how that goes. Maybe I'll actually do some rides here this weekend. So Gabe wants to talk to you about this picture. And, sometimes you want to like move a conversation along, and sometimes you're telling a story. And even I find myself, all this stuff sometimes you put in the middle of a story means absolutely nothing. Like that adds nothing to the story. This adds nothing to the story and or whatever. So Gabe, you want to read that?
So a rider, I guess, ordered a ride, and the driver showed up, and they said that they were using the restroom number 2. I'll be out soon. Thank you. The driver responded with, okay. And then they said, thank you. And then they continued 2 more minutes, wiping now. My apologies.
So why?
It's too much.
Yeah, I wish I could know who the original poster of this is so I can be like, did you continue the conversation? I always feel like it's same with videos. With somebody's videotaping something and they cut it off at the worst fucking time. It's just like, why didn't you just keep recording? I mean, you're obviously recording, so maybe there was more. But what did we say we have a chat where we share all these stories? I mean, that'd be an automatic cancel.
Yeah.
Automatic.
Like why would you order a ride and then go to the bathroom?
I mean, I'll tell you, somebody with Crohn's, even if I ordered the ride, I'd be like, I'm clenching my butt cheeks because I'll just go wherever you know what I mean? Yeah. I'm not going to just go to the bathroom when I got a driver come. I just cancel.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. The only thing that I can think of that would justify it is I know that there's been times when it seems like the app is kind of lagging.
That's true.
Like I'll get there and the person will come out and they're like, oh, I'm sorry. It said, you were 15 minutes away still or 10 minutes away. And, that's happened enough that I don't think they're BSing me. So that could be the only reason. But yeah, if you're ordering a ride, I'd make sure I'm all good to go before I ever place the order.
Yeah. Well, the funny part is the dude or female was so polite. Thank you.
Yeah.
My apologies. Yeah. I'm wiping now.
I would have been good with a, hey, I'll be out in just a few minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're normal.
That would have been fine. Right.
Exactly. We've all gotten that. Hey, be there in just a minute,
Yeah.
Or a couple minutes.
Or I've gotten a text that says, oh, you showed up way sooner than what it said. Give me a few minutes. Like Larry, like I've had people say that where they've come out and they're like, I'm so sorry. It said you're 5 minutes away still. Yeah. Like, I just think that there's a level of TMI and that's too, like, you could have just said, I'll be out in a minute. It didn't need to go further with like, I'm going number 2. I'm wiping now.
Yeah. Like we said, it did not add anything to the conversation that needed to be added.
Yeah. Like I would have taken sorry, I fell into a bush before I would have taken this.
Yeah. I like the ones where I get I'm taking somebody like to a bar and then I get a request and it's from somebody at that bar, to pick them up. And so you're like, you just drop somebody off and they put the request in and you're already there. And they're like, holy cow, you got here quick. I'm like, hey, I'm good.
Yeah. Have you ever get somebody, speaking of like the lag, do you ever get somebody that gets fussy when they get in the car and like, oh, I ordered the ride and it said 5 minutes and then you were here? I often wonder if it's truly the lag or you just had you were doing other things. You didn't realize it, but they get in the car, they're all fussy. It's like, geez.
Yeah. I think it's a lot of, especially those late night ones when they don't realize how much time has passed.
Yeah. Definitely. Well, yeah, definitely if they're drinking.
But then you get the ones like I had. I think that one I shared with you guys where I got it and they're like, we need to catch our bus. Can you speed up a little? And I was like, I'm stuck in traffic. And then I was like, you know what? No, I'm going to just cancel it. So I canceled it because I wasn't even going to deal with it.
Yeah. Automatic cancel with stuff like if you're going to be like, because it's going to be a problem, right? They're going to be fussy regardless of what you do. Even if you did speed there, it wouldn't have been fast enough. And
it's annoying when they like you're in the especially like if you're in the middle of a ride with somebody else and they call you. Where you at? Yeah,
I will not.
Well, I'll tell you where I'm not at. I'm not picking you up. That's not where I'm going to be.
I've had somebody, they called and I sent it to voicemail and then they called again and then I sent it to voicemail and then they message, and it pops up on the screen and they're like, I'm trying to call you. Where are you? And I'm like, I don't respond. I drop off the person. I'm like, well, I was giving another ride as your app showed you. I'm on my way now.
Yeah. I'm not going to answer the phone when I've got passengers in the car, and I'm not going to be texting when I have passengers in the car. So I'm not responding to you.
Yeah, it's annoying. I fucking hate that. And it's not safe to do that anyways. You're driving.
No, definitely not.
I would hate it if my driver took a phone call. I don't care who it's from. like, unless it's an emergency and as a
Mhm.
driver, like, if someone, I mean, I guess you don't know it's an emergency, but when you have to take a call or whatever. But
Yeah, like if your kid
Yes.
never calls you and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden they're calling, you're
Exactly.
like,
Yeah.
I got to
Yeah.
take this.
For
Right.
sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right, moving on, Larry. Let's talk about this. I read actually most of the articles for you guys too, so I read this one. I was kind of excited to talk about it.
Yeah. So this article about Uber has an event, spring product event. They have these where they'll announce some of the new things that they have coming out or released in. So here's a couple of things that they announced at their spring event. One of them is the ability to call for a shuttle, like if it's going to a sports stadium, a concert, an airport. So they're partnering with local fleet providers to use shuttles, which will seat between 14 and 55 riders. You can book them up to 7 days in advance, and riders will pay right in the Uber app. So it says users who are able to book up to 5 seats on each shuttle will be able to track the location of their vehicle in the Uber app within 25 minutes of departure time, and it generates a QR ticket that's validated by the driver when you board. So, that I'm sure there'll be people who will use that to, for, like I said, big events, concerts, things like that. Instead of having, just 3 or 4 people going, you can take a lot more.
I do like the range of 14 to 55 seater.
Yeah. Yeah.
Basically going from like a small van, not small, but a transport van to basically a school bus.
Yeah. Yeah. No doubt. And the next thing I announced is Uber is now going to let users schedule shared rides in advance. We all love the shared rides, don't we?
Oh yeah.
I've had one.
Have you? I had a couple, like when I was first starting and didn't know better. They had it in Nashville. They never had it here in Bowling Green, and I'm sure they never will. But before I knew what I was doing, I was still green rookie. I took a couple of those in Nashville, and it didn't take me long to figure out, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
No thanks. But
No thanks.
says that they're going to start this off testing out in some of the cities that have experienced some of the highest return to office rates. People heading back to the office after COVID.
Mhm.
Says their hope is to target commuters who can reserve their seat in cars on the way to work. They want to increase the number of commuters who return using Uber as a daily habit. So,
I mean, how much cheaper is a shared ride? Is it like,
is
it half? Is it a quarter? Like, I don't know. To me, it's like, why would you want to deal with other people's crap?
I didn't see a difference that I got paid, but it saved them money.
Yeah,
that's what
it
I
definitely
mean.
saves them money. But I don't know.
I
I've
think it's
never
like a
seen.
couple dollars.
I was gonna say, because who's gonna do it out of the goodness of their heart? I mean, of course, we wish people would, but to save the environment. But like, really, people's doing it to save money. But if it's like $2 or $3, I'm not doing it. I'll pay the $2 or $3.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I don't want to be sharing. Yeah, when I'm riding, it's different when you're driving. You have strangers in your car. If I'm the passenger, I don't want anybody. I don't want any strangers in the car except the driver. So yeah, it says they're going to bring it back to New York City, Los Angeles, Chicago, San Francisco, San Diego, and Atlanta before they're going to test it there and then expand it to more cities down the road.
Okay.
All right. So the next one is. You got something else you want to add?
They're just the scheduling part, right?
Hmm?
Okay.
Yes.
I would say because I have Uber X Share here.
Yeah, just the scheduling. That's what they're talking about. So the next thing I announced is it's called Uber One for students. So it's a discounted membership program. They're trying to attract students who may not want to pay for the full Uber One. So Uber One's for students is just $4.99 a month or $48 a year. They get 0 delivery fees on their Uber Eats, and they get up to 10% off rides or off of orders. And then I also get special deals and free items, it says.
I mean, that's a good deal for the 0 delivery fee, especially if you're a college student.
And if you order a lot of food, and up to 10% off orders.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's worth it. Now, what is the Uber One normally? Isn't it $10.999? So it's
$9.99.
Yeah. So it's half off. So
yeah, for sure.
I think that's good. I think a lot of people take advantage of it, especially I know how we've talked about the 0 delivery. It's like everyone sees the 0 and they get excited.
Mm-hmm.
But if you really look at your receipt, they're nickel and diming you some other ways. They may not be giving you a delivery quota, charge, but they're going to add $6 to the expenses somehow. But
yeah,
so,
they're gonna make their money, that's for sure.
yeah, but it's still, I think it's great for college kids because they're just like, hey, 0 delivery fees. We know you're going to order. We know you drink a lot. There you go.
Yeah, and you see a lot of companies do that. You can get Amazon Prime real cheap when you're a student, and you can get like Microsoft Office and things like that real cheap when you're a student. So
Yeah,
there's kind of along the same lines there. But yeah, I can see that be a good value for a lot of students for sure.
yeah.
The students that aren't on mom and dad's account already.
Yeah, you know who they are
Well,
too. They're the ones that take the half-mile Uber rides, and when it's a nice weather outside instead of walking their ass to the bar.
Yeah. Well, we don't care, right? You're on your
No.
parents' dime or yours. Just make sure you pay me.
Yeah, and it's those are good when you're trying to hit those ride bonuses, for sure.
Yeah,
Get those short
absolutely.
rides. All right, the next one's Costco delivery. So Uber Eats is adding Costco to its delivery program. So people who are ordering don't have to have a Costco membership to order from the store. But if you do have a Costco membership, then you can put it in and you get an additional but undisclosed discount. I like that, but undisclosed discount. So
I wonder if, Gabe, as the resident Instacart shopper at Costco, is it going to work the same where Uber Eats drivers are going to line up and sit there? And I mean, that's going to put a little bit of a damper
pee in the parking lot.
Honestly, I've been thinking about it since you were reading it, and I was scrolling and looking. I don't know, because that's the thing. Like, the Costco people are already shitty with Instacart shoppers, right? And like, they struggle to get the store open on time now, and they might have like 2 where they've shopped the order and the customer's coming in to pick it up, and they don't have the space for it. I don't know, how all the Costco's I've been in, there's limited space in the front. You check out and then it's like the food is right there, and then the tire center's right there, and then the line to the doors. So it'd be interesting to see. I do like how they try and say, if you don't have a Costco membership, you don't have to have a Costco membership now to go through Instacart.
Right. Oh, yeah.
So, and
Right.
if you do have one, you just get more money depending on the level of your membership.
Right. Good
So
discount.
it'll be interesting to see how many people actually utilize it.
I mean, if somehow they can get a better price or a discount through Uber instead of Instacart, they're going to go through Uber. They don't probably really care. I'm sure there's some loyalists to Instacart, the app. They really like it or whatever. But you're going to get people that if they can get it cheaper through one platform or another, I don't, for whatever reason, they're going to go to that one just because.
I guess it, it also depends on the market too. Because I've seen some people that like 898, orders that they've ordered on Instacart. Like they order every week or a couple times a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know some of those people, they get the shopper that they like, and that's the only person they want to do their shopping, and that's not going to happen with Uber Eats.
No.
Right. For sure.
Okay, moving on. The next thing they announced, last one that we'll be talking about, is called Uber Caregiver. Caregivers will be able to book other people rides to doctor's appointments, purchase medical supplies and over-the-counter items, and order groceries through Uber Caregiver starting this summer. Says the company, which is starting off with the rides functionality, will apply insurance benefits when eligible in an effort to minimize out-of-pocket costs. So they're going to start out doing the rides, and then eventually they're going to be turned on where you can order medical supplies and stuff like that, and groceries as well, all through this Uber Caregiver.
Yeah, I read that too, and it looks like obviously Medicaid or Medicare and stuff like that for underprivileged people and stuff, and old people. And then it said privatization. So I'm wondering if our insurance companies will, like, for someone like maybe us. I mean, yeah, we have some health issues, but we're obviously perfectly capable of getting ourselves to an appointment and get our medications.
Right.
But I wonder if it'll be offered to us, or you have to have a different, like, you have to be old enough or have to prove that you're disabled or something. I don't know. I'm just saying, because it said privatize insurance too. So
yeah. So yeah, I'm sure there'll be some guidelines or something like that you have to meet.
Yeah, but I like it. I mean, I know everyone's like always so shitty with Uber, but like I like that they're I like that they're doing things. for the community. I mean, people need rides. And
I mean, I do a fair amount of hospital or doctor's appointment rides already. Just because one of the places that I tend to sit when I'm not giving a ride is kind of close down to our hospital, and there's a huge clinic right next door and a lot of medical stuff down in that area. So I end up getting a lot of those rides.
The problem with those, though, is you're never going to get tipped because it's through the hospital. If they take that power out of and give it to the customer, you know what I mean? Maybe we'll see some more tips. But every time I see one of those, I'm like, well, I'm not getting
tipped. And I mean, I would say less than 50% of mine are booked through the insurance company. It's just people, are not booked through there.
Well, okay.
The people are getting it, but they're going to the doctor or for an appointment, thing like that. But you're not going to get a tip when the insurance company is booking it. That's for sure. But you also, usually these people are pretty calm, and they're not going to be rowdy, causing problems for the most part either.
That's a good point. Never thought of that. Most likely they just want to get home because they were.
Hey Jethro, you want me to break your other leg? You calm down back there.
Bro. Oh my gosh. Well, that was great. I was not expecting that. So real quick before we move on, Octopus tablet is the tablet of choice. We just had someone else sign up. I don't know who any of these people are, but thank you for doing that. Go to the description and you can click on the link there. Free tablet gets delivered in a couple of days. Set it up, make money. You are not allowed to speak about this.
Mute that mic.
You're not allowed to speak about this. And so, Jesper had the same problem, but he figured it out because he's an adult.
But
I don't know how many emails I told you.
I don't want to hear about it. I told you don't talk about it. Anyways, go to Octopus or shit. Now you got me. I got myself all fucked up. I have all this shit down mostly. Anyways, if you want to get a tablet that people love to play, go ahead and click the link in the description. And 99 out of 100 people will get a tablet. Sometimes there's some issues.
If your name is Gabe, you don't get one.
You don't get one. You have to put a different address in. Just ship it to my. Oh, you can't ship it to my house because I already have one. I was just gonna say. So, Gabe, we're gonna skip yours because I just realized it talks about Uber caregiver. Unless it's any different than what we just spoke about.
No, it's the same as what we talked about, but I think it's a good thing. If you don't do a lot of medical, like we have a lot of medical here because of U of M. And the one complaint I always hear is the insurance company uses this separate company, right, to do the transport. And if they don't have the vehicles, then what do? They put it in the Lyft or Uber app. So they're making all of this money off of the insurance companies. And then they give them some of the information, but what if the ride cancels or if it's set up as a reservation and they don't show up? I think this would give them more control where they don't have to worry if they're going to have a ride or not.
True.
They'll know because they can order it themselves. Well, so I like that it's taking that middleman out of the picture.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And we know Gabe and I have both worked with a gentleman that makes money hand over fist on these medical rides. Because we know what we got paid on it, like from him. Then he's got to be making some money on it because we're using his car and gas. So like they charge them a lot of money for those fucking things.
And I was not generous with what I charged him. I'm like, this is what I want if you're gonna have me do it. And he was like, okay. Like there was no question. It was like, okay. Right. So it made me wonder, like, how much is he getting?
How much are you making? Unless he just needed the ride taken, otherwise he'd lose the money altogether. I mean, he may have taken a loss on it, but I don't know.
No, I think it's a great idea. As a caregiver too, like, my daughter, and if I'm busy and or somebody is busy and they can't go take somebody to an appointment, like this is a great service. I'm glad to see that they're getting behind it. They're already doing it maybe without Uber knowing, but at least Uber's hand is in it and giving more power. And they are talking about customers 65 and older with Medicare, Medicaid recipients, and people with eligible commercial insurance via their employer.
Like that's what we talked about. Like mine with Priority Health, would I have access to that if I couldn't drive? You know what I mean? I don't know.
Well, I think anybody that has insurance, that's part of their benefits. And a lot of people don't know about that, is they will cover, transportation, even if it's giving you gas money.
Yeah. They deny most things, but
I do like the part where they're taking out the middleman as well, because I've had passengers that it was scheduled through their insurance, and for one, something happened, the driver never showed up, or he had to cancel for something happened, and they're left in the dark. They're just sitting there waiting, and the person never shows up, so they have to call their insurance company again and try to schedule another ride. And before you know it, they've been there for 2 hours waiting for a ride to go home,
or they have to cancel. I had a guy who he was having he had heart surgery. And he's like, I finally made it to my appointment. And he was like, I was supposed to come last week, but I had to cancel because no driver showed up.
Yeah. And that's horrible.
The only thing I think about, like, I love that they're going to put it back in the hand, or into the consumer's hand. How are the insurance companies and stuff like that going to monitor? Like, because normally it says no stops on it. You know what I mean? Like, how are they going to monitor? So, or maybe they only reimburse. Like, maybe that's what it is. I bet you it's maybe a reimbursement thing, or they know how much. Let's say the ride from here to there, A to B, is $20. And if you go over that, you're gonna have to. You know what I mean? I'm just wondering how they're gonna monitor the person not taking advantage of it, because we know if there's something great out there, somebody will fuck it up.
There's got to be some guardrails on there.
Well, I think they probably put something in there with, they have a way of doing like their bubble around the airport, right? And their geofence. So probably if you put in the address, it has to maybe have the doctor or the medical facility's name in it, because it's going to be the Uber. It's going to be your health card attached to your account.
Yeah, so I'm wondering how the insurance company is going to put guardrails on there. I'm not worried about, what I mean? How are they going to say that Uber? But
it'll be interesting. They probably thought of everything,
I'm sure they did.
I'm sure that,
they're pretty smart. They don't pay enough, but they're pretty smart.
Smooth as glass.
Right. Oh, I forgot my one article. I skipped right over it. All right, I'm gonna do this one real quick. So it looks like I don't know, Uber integrates a social commerce into marketplace of shoppers. So basically it's just saying that they are going to be able to see curated lists from people within their social network and beyond. It didn't really say, which I thought it would be built into the app, as Uber's always trying to keep you in the app like Facebook and stuff. It didn't mention that unless I didn't see it, but so it's basically trying to be able to find different foods that you like from your friends, basically. But it doesn't say it like integrates with Facebook or Instagram or things like that. So I thought it was interesting. I'd like to see how it worked, but it didn't say it was going to keep it inside the app. So I guess we'll have to see, because didn't we just, Larry, last week talk about an article? They were trying to do something to keep people. It was something about keeping them in the Uber app, just like Facebook. I feel like
was it the Instacart partnership?
Yeah, that's right. Because there was no pop out. That's right. You could order Uber Eats.
It's just another tab. Yeah, another tab.
Yeah, just another tab in the Instacart app. So, so it'll be interesting. And then real quick, I'll just jump into. We talked about the rideshare companies in Minneapolis. So they are starting. The one that we thought is the how do you say that one? WRID?
Rides.
Fucking A. Can't they put like a little notch above the W to let me know not to say W? I hate it so much.
Sometimes you got to be smarter.
I know, but Larry's only told me about 16 times how to pronounce it, and I don't want to sound like an idiot, but I end up doing it because I ask, how do you pronounce it?
17's a charm. 17's a charm.
So looks like the rides is onboarded the drivers already, and the other company is My Wheels. I'm not sure if we talked about that. What?
No, I don't.
Just the spelling of these.
Oh, My Wheel. Oh yeah, you're right. The wheels is spelled WEEL. That's because someone had the website my actual spelling of the word wheels.
Yes.
But so both of them are. I would say that Rides is probably going to be more successful than the other one, because I've not heard of it. It says My Wheels has about 60 drivers. The other one, I think, has up to 1,000 drivers. So we'll see. I hope. This is kind of an older article, though, because I looked at the numbers in there. They were talking about $1.40 per mile. and 51 cents a minute. This was before they came down with the agreement. This article was written. So, but I still foresee them having a few companies being in there and challenging Uber and Lyft. Why not? You had the door open, go for it.
I'm surprised they don't have the one company that's here with the electric cars, like the self-driving cars. Why can't I think Mayflower?
Waymo?
No, May Mobility. That's what's here in Ann Arbor. May Mobility. And somebody sits in the car. I have a friend who drove for them. She just sits in the car and she drives around town. They give rides.
So she doesn't drive, she just watches the car, right?
I think there's times where she has to take over.
Oh, okay.
But they're like, it's censored galore. Like you look at the damn thing and there's sensors on every corner, the sides, the top, the back. And I'm just like, and I see them out.
Yeah, when they gonna do a self-driving car that looks actually cool and not like a fucking spaceship on crack?
I don't know if there has to be that many sensors. I don't know if I want to get in it.
Well, the funny part is most of our newer cars have, like my little EV's got cameras. You know, you got the mirror cameras, and then it does the self-driving, or like it keeps you in the lane without your hands on it. Like it's got cameras in the front, so it's like you can't even see them. So clearly they know how to do it. But that's a little bit different. I mean, you're talking about you need 360.
Yeah, it would take a lot for me to get comfortable. I've rebooted too many computers in my career.
Look at your fucking internet. You got to reboot
exactly, man.
Before every show.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Saying. You know, when we going down the interstate at 70 miles an hour and here rebooting instead of the old GPS going, recalculating. It's going to be rebooting.
Well, do you know that Tesla runs 2 computers in those cars simultaneously, and the other one can automatically take over if the other one glitches out?
Yeah, sure it can. And also when we when we were, I worked at the city, we had a generator that was supposed to take over when our power went out to run our data center. And one time it didn't, it didn't fail over. The switch that caused it, to switch over, burn out right when it tripped it. And this doesn't work. Things break. It just doesn't.
No, I get it. But I thought that was kind of cool in those cars that they had that. But
I think they would. I mean, you would have to have like complete redundancy.
Yo, God, yes, yeah. I don't know. Someday, I don't think everyone's. Even people nowadays on the social groups, they talk about, they're going to take away our jobs. You and I, Gable might be alive. He's a youngin'. You and I will be dead before that is even a thing. Like I truly believe it.
Yeah. I wouldn't say that. My cousin sent me a video. She was at some grocery store and it had, I can't remember the name of it. She sent a video. I've sent it to you guys in the group. But this thing is moving down the aisle and it's scanning and checking inventory. And she's like walking up to it and it stops and then she moves. So then it continues and it spins around, and like they're already doing so much, and you can pull up to fast food places and a machine takes your order.
Yeah, but Gabe, that's not driving down the road doing 75 miles an hour with no one in it. I mean,
I didn't think we'd get to the point we've gotten to now, over time with certain people using machines.
They are, some of them are really cool. I saw a robot the other day, video of a robot that was very, very nimble with the things he could do. Like, he was turning pages of books, very quickly too. It wasn't like the slow jerky movements that you see on some of them. He was pretty fast with a lot of stuff, but still, driving down, like I said, driving down the interstate, 75 miles an hour, and a sun flare goes off and the electronics go out and you're toast.
Yeah. Well, look what happened the week that I had my internet trouble. Like we finally figured out. I mean, no one's confirmed that's what happened, but that whole week we were having solar flares. We were having the northern lights. Like there was a lot of shit going on. Cause I saw people talking about it after Wednesday. I saw it popping up maybe because I was Googling shit on my phone and chatting.
Yeah. You thought your internet company was out to get you.
It took out my wife's radio on her car. She was coming home from school, and for like 10 minutes, like she could get nothing on her.
Really?
On her car, electronics on her car.
God, if we, and this is just getting crazy when I'm saying this, but like if we ever get attacked with like an EMP or something like that, we're fucked.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, people don't know how to do anything anymore.
No.
You take away electricity in about 3 days, people are killing each other for food.
Well, the problem is how do you, like, this is a different topic for a different show, but like, how do you relearn whatever you need? Like, no one's going to do that. Yeah. I had electricity from as far as, for forever, it feels like. So yeah, that happens.
What does YouTube it? We'll teach us how to do it.
Unless we got an EMP, and that's usually when I YouTube stuff is after the shit happens. If that happens, I'm screwed.
It's gonna happen, and she's gonna be like,
"God damn it!
What do I do?
Fucking Comcast working. Get me.
My damn internet's down again."
Anyways, all right. Well, on that note, on our apocalyptic talk, we'll end that. I know we have a lot of stories left on there, but that's less we have to prep for next week. So
I'm impressed you said that.
I know it was a little rough there. It was a little rough, but anyways, thank you guys so much for listening. The people online, Josh, Kristen, Rick.
And that was Josh from Kim's show.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
That's about. Jimothy was on for a little bit.
Yeah, appreciate everybody listening.
Appreciate you guys so much. Next week is the 5th show of the month. Holy cow, it feels like this month is going forever. And I'm looking forward to being done with school and getting out and doing some gig work. Larry, you were just real quick. Are you working this weekend at all? You doing any gig work?
Let me think. Yes, I will plan on doing some.
Yeah, I plan on it too. I don't want to though, so I'm gonna need some motivation from my friends.
Following weekend, we'll be in Virginia again at Lake Anna with our kids at the lake cabin.
Okay, so
cool. The kids always rent a cabin every year, and we go spend part of the time with them.
Very cool. Well, I know Gabe will be out. He'll be giving.
Yeah, Gabe's always at.
He'll be like, "Listen, bitch, it's 6 a.m. on Saturday. Where you at?" That's where you at.
He said, Gabe will be on Telegram, man. I'm just sitting here in the parking lot watching this lady take a whiz.
I'll be out this weekend, not next weekend. It's my birthday next weekend. So
yeah, jam.
You know it.
Very cool.
Are you 29?
Shit, I wish. I'll be the big 4-0.
The big 4. I barely remember the big 4-0. So
yeah, me neither. It was only 8 years ago. All right. As always, don't put up with anyone's bullshit.
And we'll see you on the road.
Good night.
Good night.
Night.